Can Jim Hiller do something for the LA Kings that has rarely been done in the NHL? That's next in this edition of Locked On LA Kings.
You are Locked On Kings, your daily podcast on the Los Angeles Kings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, Kings fans, welcome to Locked On LA Kings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On LA Kings your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. We would love for you to leave us a positive comment on Apple Podcasts if you're a fan of the show. And we're on YouTube. Please like and subscribe if you're enjoying this content. I'm Eddie Garcia, your host of Locked On LA Kings. I've worked in sports media for the past 30 years, 20 plus years at the Fox Sports Radio Network. Also co-host of the Puck Podcast, a weekly NHL review show that's been putting out content for the past 18 years, and a passionate LA Kings fan for over 30 years. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more this summer. FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right, there is something for everyone every day, all summer long. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. And before we get started, wanted to give a quick shout out to everydayer Dominic, who I was able to meet up with in Las Vegas, where I was there over the weekend. Really super nice guy. Dominic, appreciate all the support. It was great to meet you, and doing a great job cheering on the Kings and not turning to the darkness, becoming a Golden Knights fan once that team obviously came to be in Las Vegas. He's been a longtime Kings fan in Vegas, and a lot of people did turn against the Kings that were Kings fans in Vegas. Once they got their own team, I get it. But still, for those that are sticking it out, Vegas residents that have been longtime Kings fans and are still Kings fans, you guys are doing a great job. And Dominic, it was great to meet you. On today's show, we're going to talk about the Kings' future prospects and some Hall of Fame legends. Plus, what are the Kings giving away to people this season? But first, I was curious about head coach Jim Hiller and the path that he has taken to become the Kings' next head coach. Now, how many times in recent history or even NHL history has a coach been promoted to interim head coach because a coach has been fired during the season, and then that coach is named head coach and then goes on to have success with that team? I really didn't know. Now, there are 10 NHL teams that will have a different head coach to start 2024-25 than they did to start the 2023-24 season. And of course, the LA Kings are one of those 10 teams, with Jim Hiller taking over as full-time head coach. Now, he was interim coach, and then after Todd McClellan was fired, guided the team to a 21-12-1 record and a playoff appearance. They were obviously eliminated in 5 games by the Edmonton Oilers. Of the 10 new NHL head coaches, only Hiller and St. Louis Blues head coach Drew Bannister were interim coaches that were promoted to full-time head coaches for this coming season. Bannister guided the Blues to a 30-19-5 record, but missed the playoffs. They were the last team on the outside looking in at the Western Conference playoffs. Of the 10 new NHL head coaches, only 2 are new head coaches that were promoted from an assistant position. And then that would include San Jose Sharks new head coach Ryan Warsofsky. He replaced David Quinn, who was fired at the end of the season, so no interim promotion during the season. And also Winnipeg Jets head coach Scott Arniel replaced Rick Bowness at the end of the season after Bowness decided to retire. Now, one coach was promoted from the AHL Farm Club to take over the NHL team for this coming season. That was Dan Bylsma with the Seattle Kraken. So he has some familiarity with the roster and the players, but he didn't have first-on, hands-on experience like the assistant coaches who got promoted did during practice, locker room, and obviously behind the bench during games with the group that they're now coaching. Now, part of the reason Jim Hiller was promoted to full-time NHL head coach, and I'm assuming the same is true for the other 3 assistants who have been promoted as well, was their familiarity with the team and the players. The thinking is that this coach is not coming in blind, where another head coach would be if you hired somebody from outside the organization. There's not going to be any real getting to know you type of phase with the core group of the team. He knows what the players who played last season are capable of. He knows what they do well, what they don't do well, and hopefully has a good idea going into the season how he's going to put them in the best position to succeed, and they can just kind of hit the ground running. Hopefully it's a smoother transition than it would be otherwise. The players also have a level of trust and familiarity with the coach, and they know what, for the most part, what they need to do to make that head coach happy. Now, going into the 2023-24 season, there was one assistant coach who took over a team on an interim basis during the previous season and then was promoted to head coach of that team, and just as Hiller has been for this coming season. That coach was Ryan Huska of the Calgary Flames, and he was an assistant to Daryl Sutter. Sutter got fired, and then Huska took over and was named full-time head coach going into last season. So how did he do in his first season under those circumstances? Well, the Flames did not make the playoffs. So we'll see. Despite obviously Huska's knowledge and familiarity with the team, he wasn't able to translate that into the Flames making the playoffs. But to be fair to Huska, he wasn't taking over a team that had made the playoffs the previous year either, as Jim Hiller did. Now, there have been several instances recently in the NHL of head coaches being fired and then the in-season replacement leading that team to a Stanley Cup title. We know that all too well with Daryl Sutter and the LA Kings in 2012. Craig Berube did it not long ago with the St. Louis Blues. Mike Sullivan did it not long ago with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Dan Bilesma also did it in Pittsburgh, an interim coach who went on to guide his team taking over in the middle of the season to head coach. Larry Robinson, an old LA King, did it back with the New Jersey Devils. The next year, he then became the full-time head coach, did get New Jersey back to the finals, where they eventually lost to the Colorado Avalanche. But when was the last time an NHL assistant for a team was named interim head coach, didn't go on to win the Stanley Cup, and then was named full-time head coach the following season and eventually led that team to a Stanley Cup title? Well, I went back and did research on this today. I went all the way back to the 2000-2001 season. And I don't believe it's happened since then in the NHL. Again, for a coach to be promoted from an assistant to interim head coach, finish out that season, then the next season be hired as the full-time head coach, and then eventually take that team to a championship. It hasn't happened in the last 25 years, I do not believe, based on the research that I did today. Now, Paul Maurice took over as interim head coach of the Hartford Whalers as an assistant. He then got the full-time head coaching job. That team moved to Carolina, became the Hurricanes, and he did eventually take them to the Stanley Cup final, but they did lose to the Detroit Red Wings. So at least that was an example of what Jim Hiller has done, not winning a championship, but getting a team all the way to the Stanley Cup final. And Paul Maurice has gone on to be a very successful head coach in the NHL, guided the Florida Panthers to the Stanley Cup this past season. If you look at the current list of successful NHL head coaches, probably Rod Brindamore, also of Carolina, would be the best example of an assistant first, promoted to interim head coach, then took over full-time, and has been very successful. Now, he has not gotten to a Stanley Cup final, obviously hasn't won a Stanley Cup final, but in his 6 seasons with Carolina, his teams have made the playoffs every time, and have been very, very successful during the regular season. A little bit of a mixed bag during the postseason, but again, considered a very successful head coach at the NHL level. Now, in the history of the LA Kings, they have never had an instance where they fired a head coach in season and then named that an assistant coach, interim coach, and then hired him to be the full-time head coach the following season. So Jim Hiller is in uncharted territory as far as the LA Kings doing this. They've never done it before. Matter of fact, the Kings have only had 4 different men be interim head coaches for the LA Kings. Now, Rogie Vachon did do it twice. He was general manager of the team and then came down from the press box to coach the team on the bench to finish out the season a couple of different times. The first time was in the 1983-84 season when he fired Don Perry and then went down and finished out the season with the team. Also did the same thing in the 1987-88 season when he replaced Mike Murphy and then went down and coached the team for the rest of the way. And then after the season, went back up to being the GM in the press box. John Stevens became interim head coach of the LA Kings during the 2011-2012 season when he replaced the fired Terry Murray. He then went back to being an assistant coach before taking over the team again at the start of the 2017-18 season as full-time head coach. And then he was fired after that season and replaced by another interim head coach in Willie Desjardins. Todd McClellan would eventually take over for Darjan. And now, of course, Jim Hiller, the interim head coach, now full-time head coach, replacing Todd McClellan. So interesting as far as the history of the circumstances that Jim Hiller finds himself in. Again, it has not happened very often where you get an interim head coach who takes over full time and then has a championship season at some point. But as a wise old broadcaster once told me, statistics tell you what has happened, not necessarily tells you what is going to happen. But again, just based on recent history, it looks like Jim Hiller will be trying to do something with the LA Kings that certainly hasn't been done in their history and hasn't been done in recent NHL history as well. Hopefully, though, that he can be that interim head coach to take over as head coach and lead a team eventually to some postseason success. Do you like free stuff? Well, the Kings are giving away a lot of stuff for this upcoming season. We'll give you the details on that next here on Locked On LA Kings, your team every day. No matter how the last game went, anytime you take the field, you've got a shot at greatness. Give your team the best chance at winning by recruiting more MVPs with Indeed, because Indeed is the hiring partner where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. And Indeed is the only job site where you're guaranteed to find quality applications that meet your must-have requirements, or else you don't pay. Indeed partners with you on every step of the hiring process, finding great talent through time-saving tools like Indeed Instant Match assessments and virtual interviews. With Instant Match, as soon as you sponsor a job post, you get a short list of qualified candidates with resumes on Indeed that match your job description, and you can invite them to apply right away. Plus, you only pay for quality applications that meet your must-have requirements. Start hiring right now with a $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/lockedon. Offer valid for a limited time. Go to Indeed.com/lockedon to claim your $75 credit before time runs out. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? Then you need Indeed. Well, the LA Kings recently released their promotional schedule for the upcoming season. And if you like themed nights and free stuff, which it seems like most people absolutely do, then you are going to be interested in this. Checking the promotional schedule for the LA Kings. It starts on October the 24th when the Kings host the San Jose Sharks. And that is opening night, the home opener after the long road trip to start off things. The Kings will be giving away a rally towel on that one. Coming up on October 30th at home against the Vegas Golden Knights, it is Chargers night. I will be at that game because my wife is a huge Chargers fan and a bunch of her friends will be going. And we always go every time it's Kings Chargers night. And they'll be doing some kind of pregame tailgate ticket package for that one. November 2nd, you've got Dia de Muertos night against the Chicago Blackhawks. And it says they'll be giving away a Alabrias. Yes, my last name is Garcia. I had to look it up. And apparently it is a brightly colored Mexican folk art sculpture of a fantastical creature. So yeah, I've always needed one of those. So if you would like to get one of those, that would be November the 2nd against the Blackhawks. Also, New Era hat ticket pack as well. First 10,000 fans in attendance receive the sculpture as well. You've got November the 9th, Salute to Service Night. November the 16th, Native American Heritage Night. November the 20th is against the Buffalo Sabres, and there's nothing going on that night. November 23rd, except for hopefully a win. November 23rd, the Kings will be hosting Indian Culture Night, and they're giving away a scarf for that one. That's a game against the Seattle Kraken. On November the 27th, it's Hockey Fights Cancer Night against the Winnipeg Jets, and there's a poster giveaway for that one. On November 30th against the Ottawa Senators, the Kings are going to have their first of several beanie giveaways. So they're not doing the baseball caps like they did last year. Apparently, if you need a beanie, you are in luck this year because they're going to be giving a lot of these out. It's Salvadorian Heritage Night, and you will get a New Era beanie if you go check it out November 30th against the Ottawa Senators. On December 4th, it's We Are All Kings Night. And that's a part of helping to support the Kings Care Foundation. They're taking on the Dallas Stars that night. December the 7th against the Minnesota Wild, it is Star Wars night. Always very popular. I'm a big Star Wars nerd. They're giving away a neck gaiter and also a bobblehead, and it is a Vladislav Gavrikov Jedi bobblehead. That sounds interesting. On December the 28th against the Edmonton Oilers, boo. They'll be giving away a figurine to the first 5,000 kids 10 and under. Boy, do they need that? I need that figurine. Those kids don't need that figurine. December the 29th against the Philadelphia Flyers, it's fleece blanket giveaway night. Very popular, as I know my wife, we have a King's fleece blanket that I think we got in a giveaway that she likes to take to the games and cover up her legs to keep her nice and toasty. January 1st, ring in the new year, 2025 against the New Jersey Devils, as the Kings will be hosting them in a special holiday game. You've got January 4th is Dodgers night. That's against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Also, ticket pack mystery item will be available. So, okay, mystery item. That's always exciting. You've got coming up on January the 22nd, another beanie giveaway. It is Lunar New Year celebration, and you will get a New Era beanie with that game against the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers, who are in town. On February the 5th, it is Rams night. So if you're a LA Rams fan, you might want to go out and check that out. There'll probably be a couple of Rams players in attendance. Usually when they have those kind of crossover nights with whether it's the Dodgers or the Chargers or the Rams or the Lakers, then they'll have a couple of players come out and drop the ceremonial first puck and that kind of stuff. On February 7th against the Dallas Stars, it is Filipino Heritage Night. And again, the New Era beanie will be given out for that game. February the 8th is Country Night against the Anaheim Ducks, a bandana giveaway that night. Then you've got on February the 22nd against the Utah Hockey Club. It's another beanie giveaway, Armenian Heritage Night. So you can get a beanie there for that one. And then another beanie giveaway. All the Heritage Night games are giving away the beanies. This is Japanese Heritage Night, February 24th against the Vegas Golden Knights. You can once again get a New Era beanie for that game. February 26th against the Canucks is Black History Celebration. March the 5th against the Blues is Women's History Celebration. Then you've got on March the 11th, LA Galaxy Night against the New York Islanders. March 13th against the Washington Capitals is another bobblehead giveaway, although we don't know who it's going to be. That's also Lakers night as well. So apparently it's going to be some kind of Lakers Kings bobblehead combination. And then you've got on March 15th against the Nashville Predators, the highly anticipated pickleball paddle night, where you can get, I guess, an LA Kings themed pickleball paddle. I know I need that very badly. And then coming up on March the 22nd, it is Kids Night against the Carolina Hurricanes, another figurine giveaway. First 50,000 kids 10 and under. Again, why are we discriminating? We need to give those to everyone. I'm not just saying that for myself. March the 23rd, it's another beanie night. It is Korean Heritage Night against the Boston Bruins. March the 25th, it's Greek Heritage Night against the New York Rangers. Again, the New Era beanie will be given out for that. Man, you're going to have so many beanies, you're not going to know what to do with them. God knows I wear a lot of beanies. March the 29th, it is Pride Night against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're giving a bucket hat giveaway for that one. March the 30th, another beanie. My God, Mexican Heritage Night. You're getting a New Era beanie for that one as well. And then coming up on April the 5th against the Edmonton Oilers, another figurine giveaway. On April the 7th, you've got First Responders Night against the Seattle Kraken. April the 20th, it is against the Anaheim Ducks, reusable mini tote bag giveaway. April the 12th against the Avalanche, it is Fan Appreciation Night, and it is bobblehead giveaway. Don't know who the bobblehead is going to be for that one, but that is Fan Appreciation Night. That means it is the final regular season home game for your LA Kings again, April the 12th against the Colorado Avalanche. So if you're heading out to crypto.com arena this coming season, which I'm sure you are, and hopefully I will see you out there, those are your giveaways for the upcoming Kings season. We've got some interesting notes about the Kings coming up, about some of the young stars, hopefully in their future, about some of the future Hall of Famers as well. We'll give you the details on that next year on Locked on LA Kings, your team every day. I love sports. I love them so much I never want them to stop. But with FanDuel, I keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app, dream up bets I'm in the mood for, and then place those bets. Major League Baseball, golf, soccer, NASCAR. Never too early to get those bets down in your favorite NFL team with the season fast approaching. And I know what you're thinking. Sports betting, not yet legal in California. However, you can still sign up at FanDuel, browse the latest betting odds to your favorite sports and teams on the Sportsbook app, and get in on the action from anywhere with their free games featuring real cash prizes. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a booster or bonus daily. That's right. There is something for everyone every day, all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com/locked-on and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. All right, we've got some Kings odds and ends to update you on. Some of them involving hopefully the future of the Kings, and some of them involving legends of the Kings. The 2024 World Junior Summer Showcase wrapped up over the weekend. We mentioned this a few episodes ago, but our guy, Hampton Slukinski, the goaltender, taking part in this event for the United States. This is a precursor to the 2015 World Junior Championships that are coming up in December and January in Ottawa. Again, Hampton, don't call me Hampus Slukinski, acquitted himself very well playing for the United States. Now, the U.S. went 3-2 in the event, and Slukinski saw time in net in all three of the Kings' wins, did not play in their two losses. So that's a good sign for him. Against the Canadian team in the final game, a 5-4 shootout win for Team USA. Slukinski in that game finished with 34 saves and got the win. Certainly a good showing for Hampton Slukinski, who I've got to believe after what he did at this showcase will be on the United States World Junior team coming up. I guess there's certainly nothing he did to hurt his chances. Only helped him, I would say. I'm certainly no expert in this, but I would be very shocked if he is not a member of that World Junior team for the United States coming up. So excited for him to get that opportunity. If you don't recall, 4th round pick of the Kings in 2023. He's going to start his college hockey career this season at Western Michigan University. And so far, he's one of my most intriguing Kings prospects because he has been absolutely dominant against his age level so far in his young hockey career. Started at War Road High School in Minnesota, where he was an absolute star. One season last year in the United States Hockey League for the Fargo Force. He was named goalie of the year in that league and backstopped his team to the USHL championship. So looking forward to seeing what Hampton Slukinski does in the near future. And again, once the World Juniors comes around, definitely going to be looking for him to be on that U.S. team. A couple of articles that caught my attention involving the LA Kings. In The Athletic, they ranked all 32 NHL teams according to their current and future goaltending. Now, when I saw that article and I was curious where the Kings were, I was pretty sure it wasn't going to be very good. Matter of fact, it wasn't good. The Kings were ranked 31 out of 32 teams in terms of their current goaltending. However, as far as their future, they were ranked 7th in the NHL. I'm not sure how 31 and 7 equate to 28th, but that was the overall ranking. The Kings goaltending, current and future, were ranked amongst the 32 teams in the NHL. But certainly, at least according to this article and the author who wrote this, thinks highly of the Kings prospects. He said that they have 3 legit NHL prospects in their system with Eric Portillo, Carter George, and the aforementioned Hampton Slukinski. He said that they were listed as all B-plus prospects. He said one of these guys, at least one of these guys, will be an NHL goalie at some point. So they also talked about they gave him a ranking as far as salary cap hit involving the goaltending position. And they gave the Kings 31 out of 32 on that one. Now, I know that Darcy Kemper making $5.25 million is certainly not ideal for what he's done over the last few years, but you're getting David Riddick and Phoenix Copley both for under a combined $2 million, which is great value. So I'd say that one's probably a little bit exaggerated. Again, I get it that Kemper's making a lot more than you'd want to, but if you look overall value at 3 goaltending positions for the LA Kings, about less than $7 million. I think that's very, very reasonable. One other quick article I saw on The Athletic, it ranked current players that are still playing in the NHL who are going to be Hall of Famers one day. And there was a list of, I would say, about 12 to 15 players who are, they called them tier 1. So a current NHL player who, if he stopped playing right now, is still a slam dunk Hall of Famer. And not surprisingly, 3 LA Kings, or I should say 2 current, 1 former LA King on the list, and Anze Kopitar and Drew Doughty, and former goaltender Jonathan Quick. A couple other teams had 4 players. Penguins and the Lightning each had 4 players who are either still currently with their teams or just left their teams, like in the case of Steven Stamkos, who are going to be legitimate Hall of Famers. But pretty nice for the Kings to have 3 guys on that list who, again, are going to be in the Hall of Fame. And I will say this, for Anze Kopitar and Drew Doughty, still going to be Kings for a few more seasons, but enjoy it while it's going on. These are 2 legitimate all-time Kings greats. And again, just enjoy it. One final note, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, I'm wearing my new Marcel Dion jersey that I ordered. I talked about it on the Friday Fan Feedback Show when we talked about my collection of Kings hockey jerseys. So I would say, of the one LA Kings player that I never got a chance to see play, if there were somehow I could go back in a time machine to watch a former King, it would definitely be Marcel Dion. And frankly, it's not even close to anyone else. I never got to see him play. I would love to see, I've heard so much about him, and he's an all-time Kings legend without question, Hall of Famer. But I wish I could have saw Marcel Dion play. So again, enjoy Anze Kopitar, enjoy Drew Doughty while they are still members of the LA Kings. As for you everydayers, those of you that listen and watch Locked On LA Kings every day, I guess for about a month, you will be every other dayers. We are switching formats for the next month. We're going from 5 days a week, starting this week, to 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So again, there'll be no show Tuesday or Thursday for about the next month, unless there's some breaking Kings news that we need to react to. If Arthur Kaliev gets traded, or if Rob Blake does something unexpected that we weren't expecting, then I will definitely do a show to make sure we cover anything like that. Otherwise, though, if things continue to kind of go and be in this kind of slow down time where there's not a lot of news, we're going to be doing Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We'll ramp up again in September once rookie camps get going, training camps get going, and go back to our normal 5 days a week. So I wanted to make you aware that, again, for the rest of this month, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday shows. Wednesday, we'll either have a special feature or a special guest. And of course, Friday will continue to be the fan feedback shows. So hopefully you are still interested in sending emails for anything involving the LA Kings so we can have those fan feedback shows. If you want to get in on that, the email address is lockedoneddie@gmail.com, EDDIE. If you're watching on YouTube, love for you to leave your comments in the comments section. It helps the algorithm, helps the show to be found. So we appreciate all your support with that. And if you want to stay connected with the show on social media, X, Twitter, Instagram, we are at Locked On LA Kings. I'm Eddie Garcia. Thank you as always for listening and watching this episode of Locked On LA Kings, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you on Wednesday. And as always, go Kings go.